and welcome to Lavonne's Kitchen. Today in the kitchen, I am cooking some collard greens. Yes, sir, yes, sir. But there's a slight twist to my collard greens. I am going to be cooking some canned greens. Don't y'all get mad at me, but yes, canned collard greens. If you cook them right, if you get the right brand, you will have some good greens. I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna prove it to you, because I used to didn't be a fan of greens unless they was fresh. I didn't like the frozen, I didn't like the canned, but I worked with them, I tweaked them, I finally found the right ones and cooked them the right way, and they are delicious. So let's get to it. But before we get started, you know what I need you guys to do though, right? Go out there and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can get all of my videos. Make sure that you are out there sharing the videos and talk to me. Talk to me down in the comments. Let me know what you think, especially about these greens, because I know y'all gonna have a lot of comments about these greens. But I want you to try it. You guys talk to me. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna get everything ready and I'll be right back. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is show you my ingredients. Of course, I'm using canned greens, but these are the type that I use. These are Margaret Holmes canned greens. These are the only ones that I use. They do have a little bit of seasoning or whatever in there, but you know me, I'm gonna do my own thing. But these are the ones that I use. They don't have a lot of stems in them, and they are fine. I'm also gonna just use some hot sauce. And I put smoked turkey in my greens. You could put whatever type of meat you like in yours. But what I do is I cook my smoked turkey first. So what I did, I put some onions and garlic and, of course, some Creole seasoning on my smoked turkey and put it in the oven and let it cook until it's falling off the bones. And then I'll put it in the greens. So I'm going to get the smoked turkey out of the oven and show you how I do this. Let's see. Ooh, it's hot. It's hot. Okay. So let's ooh, yeah, it's hot. And so the way I know that they're done is when they are falling off the bones. And then I can easily just pull that meat off the bone. And as you can see, it makes its own juice. So what I'm gonna do is pull all this meat off the bones and put the meat and the juice in my pot before I even put my greens in there. Okay, but I want you guys to come a little closer so you can see this. Remember, this is hot. So what I'm gonna do is I've got two forks here, and I'm just going to start to pull the meat apart. Let's see. See how you just pull it apart? Pull it off of the bones. So I realized the meat was not pulling off the bone as easy as what I like it to. It was coming off, but I like it to just fall off the bone. So I put that back in the oven for a minute. So while that's in the oven, I start on my greens. And if you can see, they're not, let me pour a little juice off here. I just don't want to spill all of that. Okay. But if you can see, there's not a lot of stems in there. So that's the thing. A lot of people don't like canned greens because there's a lot of stems in there. But this does not have a lot of stems, so we're good there. I'm going to put about a half a cup of hot sauce in here. Okay, of course, hot sauce has a lot of different seasonings in it, plus it has a lot of salt. So I'm not going to put any salt in the greens. The meat was also seasoned, so it has that Tony Chachere's. Let me show you. It has the my Creole seasoning. Remember I put that on everything? That has a lot of salt in it as well. So when I mix that meat and these greens together, let's see, it's gonna already have enough salt in there. So basically, it's just that easy. I mean, I put my meat in my greens, some hot sauce, and I'm good to go. It'll already have garlic, minced garlic, and onions because that's what I cooked in the meat. So the seasonings in the meat, the juice from the meat, that's what's going to season my greens. It's just that easy. You don't have to be washing greens and cutting up greens and cleaning greens and all of that. I mean, if you just prefer the fresh greens, that's fine. You can still use those greens along with this recipe. But if you're in a hurry or you just don't have time for all of that or you just don't want to be bothered, get you a can of canned greens. Try it. Remember, when you eat greens, you gotta have cornbread. So I need you guys to go out there and check out my hot water cornbread video. Okay, can't have greens without cornbread. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on low and let this go ahead and start to cook. I'm gonna wait for that meat to finish and then I'll be back, show you how I shred up my meat and put it in the greens. All right, I'm back and my smoked turkey should be ready. So let's get this party started. Okay. It's falling off the bone. So I'm going to get my forks and I'm just going to just pull it apart. Look at this. How easy that is to pull it apart. Look at this. See, it's just falling apart now. And then the juice that's in here from those onions and minced garlic that I put in here, I'm gonna take all of that and pour that in my greens. I'm gonna take all the bones out and then just pour all of this meat. See that minced garlic that was in there? Even the skin off the turkey, I'm gonna put all of that in my greens. So I've pulled all the bones out of my meat, and what I'm gonna do is just mix it up in that juice, and then any like real big pieces like this, just pull them apart, because I want the meat to be shredded. And like I said, I was gonna keep that skin in there, because you know, some people eat it. This was 2 smoked turkey legs, okay? So basically, that's it. Here's one more bone. Let me get this bone out of here. Okay, so now it's shredded up so that when you eat your greens, you'll have some meat in almost every bite. Look at this. And I'm gonna stir it up in the greens, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour all of this into my greens. All the juice and everything. Wait a minute, y'all see this juice in here too? I'm gonna pour all this juice in here. And all this meat, yeah. Look at that. Just mix all of that up in there together and let this cook for, I like to let it cook for a half hour. I mean, they're canned greens, they don't have to cook that long, but I just like to cook mine for a half hour. Just make sure all those flavors marry together and we're good to go. So while those are cooking for a half an hour, I'm gonna go ahead and make me some hot water cornbread so that when this is done, I can eat. Look at this. See all the meat in there? Yes, and you don't see a whole lot of stems. So I mean, I'm loving my canned greens. You guys are gonna have to try it. All right, so I'm gonna let it cook for a half hour. I'm gonna cook some hot water cornbread and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. My greens are done. My hot water cornbread is done. And it's time to taste. So, let me get some greens. Now, my greens have a lot of meat in them. because I make my greens into a meal. You do not have to put nowhere near that much meat in your greens like I did. You see, there's a lot of meat in there, but you don't have to do that. I just like a lot of meat in mine. Let me find me a fork and get me a piece of this hot water cornbread. And like I said, if you guys have not seen that hot water cornbread video, make sure you check it out. It's one of my newer videos. Hot water cornbread is something that has been so hard for me to learn how to cook. It took me over 20-something years to get it. It's the easiest thing in the world to cook, but for some reason or another, I just couldn't get it. So I finally got it, and it is delicious, so I need you guys to go check that video out. All right, but in the meantime, yeah, I just want you guys to look at this. It's got onions, it's got garlic, it's got lots of meat, and there's not a lot of stems in there, you know? And they're canned greens, seasoned to perfection. Onions, garlic, hot sauce. Greens are my most favorite food in the world. They are good for you, and especially if you're cooking them with smoked turkey versus cooking them with some pork. It's a whole meal for me. I remember when I used to go on diets all the time, I'd say, okay, I'm gonna eat greens every day. And I can eat greens every day with no problem. It's the cornbread that's the problem, because I have to have cornbread with my greens. But that's all right. But anyway, let's try these. Mm-hmm. Yes, Lord. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Y'all know me. When it's good, I got to do my dance. Yeah, it's good. And they canned greens. I didn't have to do all of that work. Nope. It was easy. It was quick. It's so good. It's delicious. So guess what? I'm about to have my dinner. And I'll see you guys next time in the kitchen. You go out and hit that subscribe button. Bye.